Hey everyone, welcome back. Hope you guys are having a great Wednesday. Today was a little weird day in the markets. Markets were up, Bitcoin was up, Ethereum was up, but the miners were down. It was weird. So we'll take a look at what's going on with the S&P, Dow Jones, NASDAQ, Bitcoin, and Ethereum. Bitcoin's pumping really hard right now. We'll take a look at it. And then we got the miners. We'll also take a look at those. Some were up, majority of them were down though. So this is a weird day. I couldn't figure it out. Huge growth incoming for Sphere 3D. Their production does improve. We'll look at all the numbers for December. And then we also have Argo. Their mining margins improve, but their BTC production is down, and we'll get into why that is, okay? So as always, you guys know the drill here. I'm invested in following coins and companies, and this is non-financial advice for entertainment only. Do your own research, and if you enjoy this type of content, hit the like button, subscribe, helps me out tremendously, okay? So let's get into the markets. So right now, while we're looking at Bitcoin, but let's take a look at the S&P. The S&P was up 1.28% today to 3,969. Dow Jones was up 0.8% to 33,973. NASDAQ was up 1.76% to 11,402. And Bitcoin had a nice day today. It ended up really nice, but it did go down a little bit in the beginning. But we'll take a look at it. So it was up 2.87% on the day today. It was up, it closed at 17,944. We hit a high of 17,998 and a low of 17,315. Right now, we are up to a high of 18,290, and we are currently trading at 18,254. We're above the 18,000 mark, which is great. The only worry sign right now is the RSI on it. It is above the oversold territory. We are at 75 right now, but we could trade sideways a little bit, or go down a little bit and then go back up. So we'll see how that's going to continue going. If we look at the 4-hour chart, you can see here that we did come down to approximately, what was it, 17,300 some. I did say yesterday's video that I think we're going to have a little bit of a pullback. We need a little relief in the RSI, which happened. I said we could go down to 17,250, 17,300. That's where we're at. We bounced off of that, which was kind of nice. We'll see how this continues. Right now, the RSI on the 4-hour chart is way up here also. It is at 86, so we're overbought. Right now, we need this to come down a little bit, so I wouldn't be surprised if we have a little bit of a pullback before we continue going up higher. But it also depends on the CPI data tomorrow that comes out. We'll see what that is. If that's below 7%, I think we might be off to the races, but we'll see. Now, the 1-hour chart also, you can see here it has come down. It's still way up here at 87, way overbought. You can see here this morning, we went down to the 17,330 roughly. RSI came down to 40. After that, it went up nicely and then kind of went flat for a couple hours, and we basically just bounced right off of that. So we'll see how this is going to continue going forward into tomorrow. Ethereum was also up nicely today. It finished up the day 4.02% up to a close of 1389. We hit a high of 1397 and a low of 1319. We are currently up about 0.95% to 1,402, which is pretty good. So we'll see how this one's going to play out. Let's take a look at the 4-hour chart really quick. RSI is overbought as well. Territory at 80 right now. Last time we were here was back here. Price was lower, so we're still looking good there. 1-hour chart, you can see here that we have come down a little bit to 77. Last time we were here was back here. Price was lower at that point as well, so we're still looking good there as well. Okay. Now, as I said, the miners, they were, for whatever reason, they were down today. I think it's because Bitcoin went down during the day. They were following suit. Also, it could be that the miners are up quite significantly here in the last couple of trading days. I think this might be just some profit taken potentially. And that's the only thing I can think of why the miners were down while Bitcoin was still up at the end of the day. Bitcoin was trading up higher towards the close of the day for the regular miners, and they still stayed down low. So I'm guessing it was profit taken. If you guys have any other ideas, let me know down in the comments below. Okay, so ANY was up today. Down today, 1.21% to 32 cents. Argo was down 18.11% to $1.04. They've had a huge rally here. This looks definitely like profit taking. You got Bit Digital was down 2.18% to 98 cents. Bitfarms was down 3.45% to 70 cents. CleanSpark was down 2.04% to 240. Cores was flat on the day, it looks like, at 8 cents. DigiHost was down 5.72% to 59 cents. DMG was down 1.13% to 14.5. Greenidge was up 11.94 to 66 cents. As you can see here, Greenidge has continued a nice little up rally. The only reason I think they are still going up is because they haven't really reached that peak level where people are going to take profits possibly. Hive was also up today, 4.05% to $2.31. And same thing I'm thinking with Hive. Hut 8 was down 0.85% to $1.17. Iris Energy was down 6.13 to $1.53. Marathon was down 6.61% to $5.37. Mawson was down 7.5% to 37 cents. Riot was down 4.79% to $5.37. I mean, you can see some of these, like Riot, just went up really. Let's take a look at it. How high did it go here from the bottom? It went up approximately 71%. So kind of figures that people would be profit taking a little bit. Plus, you can see the RSI getting above in the overbought territory. So we're having a little bit of a pullback here. Profit taking, I'm guessing. Soluna was down 2.5% to 39 cents. Wolf was actually up 2.01% to 75 cents. And that is it. Let's take a quick look at the network hash rate. Network hash rate right now is at, on the 7-day average, 268 million. I imagine with the price of Bitcoin going up, miners are going to be plugging more in. This is from, when is this from? January 10th, so it's about a day behind. We are at 249 on the daily average, but I would imagine that's going to pop up here with Bitcoin being over 18,000. Okay, so that's the miners, markets, Bitcoin, Ethereum. Let's take a look at our first story that we do have here, which is on Sphere 3D. So Sphere provided their Bitcoin production and mining updates for December, and we'll kind of go through the main points here. So they grew production by 74% month over month to 17.93 Bitcoin. They were at like 10 Bitcoins last month, so that was nice, good growth for them. Bitcoin holdings totaled 103.01 at the month end, and they achieved operations achieved 113.3 BTC per exahash efficiency. That, I don't know how the heck they are calculating this at all. At my best, we'll look at the numbers, but for my average, if we take the beginning of the month hash rate at the end of the month hash rate, they would be at like 73, something like that. We'll take a look at it, but I have them like 40 something right now, just if we use the actual hash rate that they're providing us with. So I don't know where they're getting that from. CEO comments, so they're talking about the miners coming in. Once fully deployed and hashing, Sphere 3D's fleet will total almost 17,000 units with a production capacity of over 1.7 exahash. Right now, they're like 365 petahash, 370 petahash right now is where they're at. Compute North update. So in December 2022, over 3,600 miners were installed at the Wolf Hollow site, formerly owned by Compute North, of which nearly 2,700 began hashing, with the remainder pending energization due to a delay of the provider. In addition, there are about 700 units currently held within Compute North affiliated storage facility, which we anticipate will be released in the coming weeks. So that is good there that they would get those released. Miner delivery updates. In December, approximately 11,850 S19j Pro 104 terahash miners were shipped to the company in accordance with the amended terms of the company's contract with the vendor. Subsequent to the end of December, the miners were landed and cleared customs, so that's good. That'll get them to about, another 1.18 exahash from there. Core Scientific update. So let me see here. They had advanced deposits with Core Scientific. Sphere 3D has engaged counsel and is vigorously pursuing every available option to recover its funds. I think they had I don't want to say it, but I know it was in the millions of dollars that they had advanced deposits over there. We'll see if they can get those back. Annual meeting, don't care. Bitcoin production and holdings update. There's not much here that's hasn't been told up front or up top. The only interesting part here is the company was operating approximately 3,665 S19j Pros. Miners delivering a production capacity of approximately 370 petahash. I think I have them at 365 petahash, so we're pretty close to that. During the December 2022, the company employed a HODL strategy for the majority of its holdings. The company used approximately 4.3 Bitcoin during the month to fund working capital, and we'll see what I actually have for that. I can't remember if that was the same number. And then closing remarks, we were excited to receive the 11,150 miners and look forward to getting them installed and hashing during the first quarter of 2023. With the near completion of deployment of our initial fleet, Sphere 3D continues to evaluate new assertive opportunities to drive value through the new year. So they're looking to potentially grow even more. So that's good news. That's what we want to see. Right now, they've been stagnant for the past year, since beginning of January 2022 through November. They were stuck at 100 petahash. So that wasn't good. Not good at all. Okay. Let's take a look at the numbers that I have for them, and then we'll get into Argo as well. So Sphere 3D, by the numbers. Shares outstanding 67.9, almost 68 million shares. Market cap is 22.4 million. Shares outstanding is calculated by taking the market cap divided by the stock price of 33 cents. That's how we're getting the shares out. Current hash rate 365 petahash. They say 370 approximately. So future hash rate of about 1.7 exahash as reported from them. I did knock this down a little bit. I had them at, I think, 2.2 or 2.1. I had 9,000 of these here. I changed it to 5,000. I'm guessing that something got changed in their renegotiations. They're currently about 21% installed operationally. They have about 365% growth left of the miners to get installed. And their hash rate average per miner is 100 terahash, which is good. BTC HODL is 103, valued about 1.7 million right now. And that's using the average Bitcoin price for the month so far in January. Now, BTC production, you can see here that their best month, it looks like, was July and August, where they were 12.78. And then they started going down here through September, October, November. And then finally, December, they installed some more miners, and that helped them out to get to 17.93. As far as BTC exahash, they reported 113. No way in heck they're getting to that. I'm at 49.12 right now, and that is based on their ending hash rate of 365 petahash and mining only 17.93 Bitcoins. That gets us to their efficiency right now of 49.12. And plus they were curtailing for quite a bit of the month. So we'll take a look at all that. Now, if they're only using the production days that they were in production and dividing it by the petahash, okay, maybe then they could possibly get to 113. That's the only way I can think of they could get to 113 efficiency on it. But if you got 365 petahash installed, you're only mining for half of the month or whatever it might be, you're not that efficient. So I just wanted to point that out. That's kind of my thought process is on that. Let me know if you guys agree or disagree. Okay, looking at their production here, looks like they made about $303,000 for the month of December, based on where we are. And then it looks like they sold, I'm calculating 5.26 Bitcoin from where they were in November with a HODL of 90.34. Now they have a HODL of 103.01. They mined 1793, so we add that to it, subtract it, and we get a negative 5.26 Bitcoin that were possibly sold. They're saying for something. I'm going to take their word for it. Maybe I'm off someplace in here, which could be the case. Okay. Next, as far as their production is concerned, they installed these miners, the new ones that came in, approximately 2,650 here that I have. That gets us to the 3,650 that they're reporting as having. Those were only mining for about 10 days, I'm calculating here. And the rest of the miners that they had from the beginning of last year were only operating for about 22.6 days. So that's how you get the BTC per exahash being so low, is because those weren't running for a lot of days. Those old ones were only running for about 3/4 of the month or so. So it's still not too bad. I mean, if you look at the previous month, they had 27.87 days of operations, which was pretty good. That got them in the 102 exahash per BTC per exahash efficiency. Okay, so that's how that's calculated. Now, future growth, we don't know what miners are going to get installed, so we have those just set as is. If they mine for the full month of January, they could be about 681,000 in revenue. If Bitcoin stays where it's at right now at the average price of, what do we have Bitcoin at? 16,000, almost 17,000. The last couple of days have been really good, so it's going to take a while for the average Bitcoin price to catch up to it, and that will go up as well. Okay, now as far as institutions are concerned, we still have 27 institutions, same shares outstanding or shares owned by institutions, same percentage. The only thing that has changed is we don't have any analyst ratings on them anymore, or at least nothing I could find from my sources. So that went down to 0 on everything. They were before with a 1 buy rating and $10 price target. Now we got 0. If we look at it here, let's see, what do I have them at? I have them about right now with a PE of 15 based on their current revenue of about 3.41 million. This is for the last 3 quarters, and the current quarter that we're in at 712, which is this last quarter that ended in December. And then the prior 3 quarters, we are at 3.4 million. I have them at 38 cents right now. They're at 33 cents as is. They are pretty much valued where I think they should be valued right now, if not a little bit overvalued based on, well, compared to the other miners, I think. Right, the other miners are making a heck of a lot more money, but their PE ratio currently is a lot lower on it. Now, they also spoke about wanting to look at potentially getting other miners growing. So if we look at their assets, They had 4.1 million in cash. Other current assets, 17.7, notes receivable, 5 points. So they had total current assets, 29 million. They could potentially do something with that. And I can't remember if they had credits with the Bitfufu provider for the miners. If they had any credits with those that they could use up to get more miners, I'm not sure. Can't remember. I covered too many miners, so I can't remember everything. But they might have some possibility to grow here. Their debt isn't too bad either. They only have total current debt of about 4 million and total liabilities of 5.1 at the end of Q3. We'll see how Q4 ends up being. Excuse me. But I'm guessing it's going to be a little bit worse than what it is now, unless they diluted shares potentially. Okay, so that's kind of what we're looking at. So that is Sphere. So the only thing I can say is they got to execute on this growth. They've had a abysmal year as far as production is concerned, from January of 2022 to the end of to the end of last year, 2022, except for December, finally started getting some action going. So they got to really execute well on this year to grow, because the network hash rate is going to continue to go up, and hopefully Bitcoin goes up as well, and that will help them out as well. So the only thing I can say, execute on growth. Okay. Next is Argo. Argo had a pretty quick update here. So they're also announcing their December production update. Here are the main things. During the month of December, Argo mined 147 Bitcoin or Bitcoin equivalents, compared to 198 in November. Sorry. The decrease in BTC mined was primarily due to the curtailment of mining operations at the Helios facility in Dickens County, Texas, in response to the widespread winter storm that impacted much of the United States in late December. Everybody's pretty much saying the same thing. All the miners are saying they're down in production because of the winter storm, which is okay. Now, as of the 31st, the company held 141 Bitcoin, of which 116 were Bitcoin equivalents. The company's total hash rate capacity continues to be 2.5 exahash. They are pretty much tapped out for growth. They don't have any future growth right now, as far as I can tell, that I'm tracking. But the good news is here that Argo generated this income at a Bitcoin and Bitcoin equivalent mining margin of 48% for the month of December, compared to 29% in November. So that's a nice increase there. They're becoming a little bit more profitable at it. Hopefully this continues going forward. And that is it here, I think. There's nothing else. They talk about the sale of Helios to Galaxy. Management commentary, not much there. As far as you guys can read this on your own time and leisure. There's nothing new that we don't know already. So let's just get into the Argo numbers that I have for them, and we'll call it a day. Let's see here. Where is Argo? There's Argo. Okay. So Argo currently has about 69.7 million shares outstanding. Stock price is $1.04. Market cap is 72 million. So shares outstanding is calculated by taking the market cap divided by the stock price, and we end up with that. Let me maybe increase this a little bit, make it bigger for you guys. Current hash rate, 2.5 exahash. Future hash rate, 2.5 exahash. They are 100% installed right now. And, no further future growth has been reported on. Number of miners, 25,840. Hash rate average per miner is 96.7 terahash, which isn't too bad. It's actually pretty good. And BTC hodl of 141. That equates to 2.38 million in hodl right now. BTC production, you can see here that it has been coming down here ever since August. August was their best month of 235. Then we got September 215, October 204, November 198, 147. And the funny part about this is they were tapped out in their hash rate in August. So August was their best month. You can see here as they were growing, BTC production was growing. Once they stopped growing, BTC production starts going down because the network hash rate continues to go up. You start generating less and less Bitcoins because of it, unless you are growing. So like I always say, the miners have to grow at least at the speed of the network hash rate, percentage-wise, or higher if they want to make more coins every month. Okay. We're also seeing that BTC per exahash efficiency has been coming down here. The best month that I have so far is in April. It might have been a little bit better here in March, February, and January. But we're only looking at the last 12 months. The 3 months ahead, 9 months back. And we can see that has also been coming down because they've been having issues with electricity prices, and they've been curtailing a lot to lower their expenses. Especially, well, Bitcoin coming down also. If it wasn't profitable for them to mine, they would be shutting off as well. Okay, so December, it looks like they reported 147 Bitcoins mined, 2.49 million in revenue, roughly. And that is a decrease of 51 Bitcoin from November. and their efficiency is way down, 58.79. And it looks like they sold about 132 Bitcoins for the month of December at a value of about 2.2 million in proceeds from that sale. As far as December numbers are concerned, they were only operating for 16.1 days during that time frame. So they're still doing a lot of curtailment, but they also sold their facility to Galaxy. This was on the 29th, I believe, of December. So we're hoping that they're going to have a little bit better production in January, but we'll see. But right now, everything is in place. No further miners going to be installed. We can see here that they sold some miners back on the 17th. They sold 3,400, and then they sold another 3,143 in October. So they sold a lot. So that was 6,000, almost 7,200. That would have given them an extra 720 petahash or so on that, if my math is correct, right? Yeah, that would have been about 700 some petahash extra. That would have gotten them to about 3.2, but they sold those because they were in a cash crunch, possibly looking at bankruptcy. Luckily, Galaxy Digital was able to save them, buy them out from the Helios, and provide them with a line of credit, I believe it was. So that really helped them out. We'll see how they can grow into 2023. And let's take a look at the numbers here for institutions. Institutions was down a little bit, 39. Shares were up a little bit to 54.31 from 53.2. And percentage owned increased a little bit from 11.13 to 11.37. Still, buy ratings went down from a strong buy to a hold and an underperform, so one of each. And price actually went up to 660, 580, and 5 here. You can see it was coming down as they were having problems in November and December. NS were cutting them because they were thinking they were going to go into bankruptcy possibly. They avoided it, which is good. If we look at their balance sheet here, well, the latest numbers we have is from Q2. They did say that they are not going to provide Q3 numbers, that they will provide the biannual as required by England's laws. So we'll see if we can figure out what Q3 looked like when they provide the, I think it's going to be the end of year numbers, I think. So we'll see if we can figure that out, how they came out in there. But if not, we'll use the latest numbers that they do provide us with. Okay, as far as, so institutions have them at $6.60 to $5. I currently have them at, well, $5.56, $5.68, sorry. And that's using the last 3 quarters, including the last quarter for December ending. That got them to approximately 79, actually we're using, sorry about that. We're not using the last December quarter because we don't know what the final number was for the September quarter. So it could be actually lower than that based on the information that I do have here. I'll have to think about this, how I want to do this, whether or not I want to use the numbers that I have for them compared to using the actual numbers. Since we're not getting Q3 numbers, I may have to do that and just preface that each time when we go over the numbers here. Okay, so at a PE of 10, since they're not growing at all, I could see them being between $5.68 and $8.51 with 75% or 50%. They're really close to 50% right now, so I think this is more in line. If Bitcoin starts going up, they could catch a better PE, but they are at what, $1.04 right now. That's a 5x potential for them if that happens. Now, pretty much all the miners are undervalued currently still. I think once Bitcoin starts going up and continues going up, things will improve for them, for all the miners, hopefully. But we'll see. We got a lot of stuff coming up here this year. We have the Fed still not done, possibly increasing interest rates. We got the CPI data coming out tomorrow. That will be interesting to see. If it is below 7, I think we may have a little bit of a rally in Bitcoin going up, which will help the miners as well. And I think that is it. So let me know what you guys thought of Argo and Sphere 3D. If you enjoyed the information, the video, the content, if you liked it, hit the like button, subscribe. Helps me out tremendously. And as always, the spreadsheet is available to my Patreon members. Thank you to everyone there for their support. And thank you so much for watching. Love you all. I'll see you guys in the next one.